Calling all flock members. If you want to become truly elite, for just $1 a month, you too can become an elite bad bird. Check out my Patreon account. Link is in the description.
Hello, my flock. Yes, Jason is here to do a review. No, this is the Badraven. I am here to do a review on Friday the 13th, Part 4. This was a mask given to my son by Pizzelle. He makes his own mask, and he made this for him. He calls it the Shelly, because it's actually the Part 3 mask, but I thought I would use it for this review anyway. So I'm going to take it off so you can hear me better. Woo! Here we go, people. Welcome back, flock. Here's a part of our marathon that we're up to Part 4 of Friday the 13th. I'm very happy to review this one because I really love Part 4. It is everything you want in a Jason movie. You got Jason, you got his mask, you got his killing spree, and they got the great Ted White as Jason in this one. So I really liked him as Jason. Really would like to meet him at a con. He's getting up in age, and I would really like to see him before he passed away because he is a good actor as Jason. First up, we're going to go over who directed this. Okay, this came out in 1984. This was billed as the final chapter. Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, because it was going to be the last in the series. I guess they figured they were just going to go ahead and wrap it all up. And they always left something at the end to be able to do something else with, I guess, too. But anyway, that was billed as the last one. I remember going to the Mitchell Theater, watching some other movie, and seeing the poster saying, "This is Jason's unlucky day." So that was cool, to see that and to know that, which I had at that time had never watched any of the other ones. So it was cool to just see the poster. So I'm going to tell you who directed this. The director was Joseph Zito. And he did a very good job of this one. I think of all the directors of all the ones, Part 4 is super well directed. Okay, we're going to the cast. We got Kimberly Beck as Trish Jarvis, because this is based around the Jarvis family. You got Corey Feldman, makes his debut in the Friday the 13th as Tommy Jarvis. Very keen character in the Friday the 13th lore. Tommy Jarvis is way up there. You'll understand why as I get into the reviews of the other movies. We got Urchet Anderson as Rob. Barbara Howard as Sarah. Joanne Freeman as Mrs. Jarvis, the mother. Peter Barton as Doug. Crispin Clover was in this as Jimmy. He was the awkward teenager that was having trouble with women. I'll explain that later in the review. Judy Aronson as Samantha. Kamel Moore as Tina. Lawrence Munson as Ted. Elaine Hayes as Paul. Carrie Moore as Terry. And that's the main ones. Ted White is Jason, of course. Alright. This all takes place literally. Part 4 literally takes place after Part 3 when, where Chris puts the axe in Jason's head in Part 3 at Higgins Haven. This literally takes place, which makes it really cool to me. You see all the ambulances. You see all the people going through all the buildings and going up to the barn, and you get a view of Jason still laying in the same spot he died in Part 3. So that was really cool how they just kind of joined us right in with Part 4. When you went from Booker being the Jason in Part 3 to Ted White taking over, it was seamless. Both about the same builds. It was really cool. Not the awkwardness of Part 2 to 3 Jason, where you have a short sidekick going to Richard Booker in Part 3. So it was all supposed to take place within days. So this one with more continuity it matched up better. But you see them at the Higgins Haven, and they're picking up the dead body, or they think it's the dead body of this Jason, and put him in the morgue, and they take him back to town to put him in there. And of course, you get your stereotypical character, the mortician that's eating a sandwich. I always said, every time I saw a movie back in the 80s, you had a mortician, he was always eating a sandwich while he was taking care of the bodies. I thought that was very, very weird, but that was what they thought they did. Maybe they do that. I've not been a mortician, so I don't know. But that was really, really a disgusting thing to do, to eat your food right there with the dead bodies. But I guess everybody has to eat. Well, as he's there at the morgue, of course, he wakes up. And, of course, you have the mortician and the nurse. And they're doing what they do in scary movies. And every time that happens, you know somebody has to die, because that is one of the no-nos in a horror film. You can't be doing that, or they're going to be cursed to death of any kind of sexual type thing in a movie, and especially a slasher movie. You pretty much. So he hacksaws the mortician's neck. He put a scalpel in the nurse's body when he picks her up against the wall. And I noticed that Jason had a very bad manicure on this one. It's some really, really long fingernails. He needs to definitely get those cut someday. Could cause a bad infection. Anyway, we get on into that, and we see a group of teenagers going to everybody wants to go to Camp Crystal Lake for the weekend. These teenagers get together, and they decide, hey, let's go down there, and we'll check out the camp and stay all night for a weekend at a place down there. So, always a hip happening place to go to. All right, and we got the teenagers. You got Paul and his girlfriend Sam. They're together. They're the couple of the group driving on down. You got the pure girlfriend of Sam, which is Sarah. She's going there to kind of get fixed up with one of the guys there. You got the pretty boy Doug. That's pretty much the one she wants to be fixed up with, Doug. Sarah does. So they're in the car, the station wagon. The family trucks are on the way down there, and you got the socially awkward Jimmy, which is Crispin Glover's character, and he does it to a T. This is before we see him in Back to the Future as the dad, and he's a very, very an actor that's very authentic. You just seem like he's not even he's just playing himself. It seems like. So I mean, he does a very great job. I thought he did. All the actors in this were really good actors for a Friday the 13th movie. When you went from part 3, it was really bad acting in there, and by some of the characters, to part 4, you could tell there was an uptick in the acting skills. They did a very good job with the producers, or the casting director did a really good job of picking the cast this time. And you got the jokester Ted. Ted is a friend to Jimmy, and he's always giving him a hard time about not being able to get a girlfriend and stuff like that. Even though he hasn't got a girlfriend either. But they have a camaraderie there that's really good. They play off each other well in this movie. I really like that aspect of their acting. They took what each other gave and was able to knock it out of the park, I think. They go to this house up there in outskirts of Camp Crystal Lake, I assume. And when they get there, their house, their rental house, is right next to the Jarvis family's house. Which, you got Trish Jarvis, and then you have her 12-year-old brother, which is played by Corey Feldman as Tommy Jarvis. And this is the beginning of a great part of the Friday the 13th saga with him in it. So it's really cool with him. Corey Feldman, 12 years old, really knocks it out of the park. He does a great job in this movie. 12 years old. He does a great job. The mother, you get the mother, and you got the dog Gordon. Got to have all those characters made out. They move in, of course. Trish sees all these teenagers moving in, so she goes over there with her brother Tommy, and they go introduce herself to everybody there. This group of teenagers that are in this place are your basic sexually active group, and that's why they come up here to party. So. She knows that, Trish does. She's a teenager too. She wants to be, nice and friendly to him. Okay, Trish and Tommy are in their car. They're going to town to get some stuff for their house. and their car breaks down, and they meet a camper by the name of Rob, who is camping in the area. So he helps them start their car back. So they take him back home, give him a ride. And when they get him back home, Tommy wants to show him something upstairs in his room, and you find out that Tommy makes masks. Tommy makes all kinds of different scary alien masks, creature masks, and like that. And he shows them to the Rob, and Rob is kind of blown away by all this, which is really cool concept that they did for the Friday thing. So later on in the series, that would really paid off if they went the way they should have went. But I'll get on that later. Rob leaves their house, and he says he's out camping in the woods like that. And Trish tells him that if he ever wants to come in and get a cup of coffee or something, just stop by and they give him. All right, so the teenagers are having they're out trying to just, I guess, go through the forest and everything. Although the group of teenagers are next door, and they run into these two twins. The twins take them skinny dipping, and they have to have that stuff going on in the story. So they get invited back to the party later at the house next to the Jarvises. That's when all the stuff happens. Paul flirting with one of the twin girls. Sam, his girlfriend, gets jealous. She gets mad at him and runs out in the dark and goes and gets in a raft that's out in the water to get away from him. And what's strange is, I saw this in one of the making of videos of Friday the 13th Part 4. Ted White said that it was really cold during that part of the year, and she was out in this water for a long period of time, and they had to do several takes of him stabbing her through the raft. So she had got hypothermia. They didn't know it at the time, but her lips were like blue and everything. And the director just kept telling her to do retakes and retakes, and she's like naked or almost naked in this raft. So she's like really wanting to get out of there, and the director wouldn't stop. And Ted White pretty much told him, said the guy that plays Jason, said, you get her to go to the hospital, or I'm gonna quit right now. So they let her go, and she ended up having hypothermia and everything. Could have been in bad shape, could have died, if they'd kept it up. So it was good that Ted White put his foot down and told him that's not going to happen, because he had been in the industry, and he knew he was a well-respected person in the industry, so he probably saved the girl's life. But getting back to the movie, her boyfriend, Paul, comes out and tries to make up with her, gets in the water, and of course Jason gets him in the groin with a spear. That just gives him enough time to get up there, and one of the twins gets mad at the other twin, and she leaves. She gets speared into the tree. Her twin that's upstairs with Jimmy, which has finally got him a girlfriend now. They were together, and Jimmy walks downstairs to get away from her to get some beers or something, and the other twin is up there, and she looks up to the window to see where her sisters went, and Jason reaches through the glass, throws her off to the second floor onto a car. You have Jimmy bragging to Ted that he's finally got him a woman and everything like that, and he goes into the kitchen to get the beers and can't find the corkscrew. And of course, Jason finds the corkscrew for him and puts it in his hand and puts the meat cleaver through his skull. Really cool kill of Crispin Glover's character of Jimmy. While that's going on, Ted gets stabbed in the back of the head. And while watching these old adult type movies filmed back in the 20s, he gets it through the theater screen, knife. Jason stabs him through the skull. You have the pretty boy Doug. He's in the shower. He just had relations with Sarah, and she leaves to go get to her room. He's in the shower. Of course, Jason comes through, crushes his head in the shower. All the stuff that Jason's just known to do. So that's some really cool scenes on that. The Jarvises get involved. Trish goes back and tries to find Rob in the woods because she can't find her mother when they get home. Her and Tommy. So she tells Tommy to stay there. She goes and gets Rob. And Rob tells her he's trying to find his sister because she had been one of the girls in the first, I guess, one of the third movie. They come back and they find all the dead kids over there. Jason attacks Rob in the basement, kills him. He goes after Trish. Trish runs back home to Tommy. Tommy, while Rob was there before, saw all these clippings of Jason as a young person and how he was killing in Camp Crystal Lakes, and shows how his hair was all shaved off. And so Tommy decides to shave his head. Jason comes after Trish. Trish is like fighting him off. He tries to kill her. Tommy comes down the stairs. He looks like Jason and says, "Jason, stop, Jason." And Jason's like looking at him like, "Hey, you look like me when I was a kid." And knocks his mask off. Trish knocks his mask off, then throws the machete down, and you see Jason's grotesque face. Really good special effects, as far as the makeup on him. I think Tom Savini came back and did this one, I'm pretty sure, as makeup artist. Jason starts to go after Trish for knocking his mask off. Tommy jumps down, gets the machete, and hollers Jason. Jason turns around, he puts the machete right in the side of his head like a pumpkin. And Jason falls down. When he falls down, the machete just slices right into his brain, all the way about halfway through his head, and it's like eyeballs moving. It's really good, like whatever. It looks really cool. It looks really cool the way the knife goes, the machete goes through his head. They do a good thing with animatronics, I guess. The animatronics, they use it to make his eyes move and that stuff that's happening. Really cool, real realistic scene. Then while he's hugging his sister, he sees Jason's finger move, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not going through what all these other people do in these movies." And he tells his sister goodbye, and he's like, "Die, die," and he's like slow motion, like totally hacking up Jason. Like anybody would have. I would if I was going through that kind of stuff. I would give him a chance to get back up. He doesn't. They fast forward to the hospital. Trisha's in the room. She sees Tommy. And he runs to her, and when she's like hugging on him and saying, "Oh, we made it," you see Tommy like squeezing his eyes together, and all of a sudden he opens up like he's turning evil, and which is a really, really cool concept for that they carry on to part 5, and we'll get into part 5, and I'll go into more depth how the Tommy angle really helps the series, or could have really helped the series if they'd went a certain way with it. So that's where it ends, and it's a great, great movie. It's a great special effects with the makeup, and I say special effects, I'm talking about the makeup basically. The makeup is great. The kills are awesome all through the movie. The characters are way better acted than the other characters in the part 3. They really improve on it. They were meaning this to be the last chapter, but it made so much money. Of course, you get part 5, the new beginning. And that'll be our next one on the marathon. So stay tuned for that one. That'll be coming up as quick as possible. So this has been Friday the 13th, part 4, the final chapter. I hope you enjoyed this. I'd just like to say thank you for watching these reviews. It really, really makes me happy that the flock is out there and really enjoys my content. We'd like to say remember that the Badraven is your friend. And we do have a Patreon account. If you want to become an Elite Bad Birds, just $1 a month, you can be an Elite Bad Birds. And I'll put your name and say your name on my videos from here on out. So try to do that for the Badraven. We need your support. We throw up the symbol. That means support the Badraven. And we need you to support the Badraven. So thank you for watching, and we really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later. And goodbye.